You look at our elections, it seems the story has been one of learning and reforming. There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes work happening in this country. So what would you say those things have been that contributed to what we've seen in 2022?
I think the advantage of where we are is that we have the benefit of hindsight, so we can look to history.
Yeah.
And be able to see what are we gleaning from history. So I see the following. One, just to reiterate what the ambassador said, is that the maturity on the part of the Kenyans people. I think it's good to celebrate and tell Kenyans kudos. The campaigns were peaceful. As in, truly, we've had instances in the past during the campaigning period where lives are lost, so we really are grateful and thankful that that did not happen. The voting, for me, was peaceful. The counting and the tallying was also peaceful. Yeah. The transmission was peaceful. If you could actually look at the main problem in this election was towards the tail end, which is it had left the members of the public. But looking at all this, we also have the benefits that our institutions have walked a journey. You look at the electoral management body that has gone from before ECK, and then ECK, then we had the interim independent, then we have the interim independent electoral, boundaries. They are merging into the independent electoral. The journey from 2013, that's where a lot of reform from 2007 all the way to where we even had a presidential election overturned in 2017. Those lessons, right from the role of the courts, the role of technology, all this to where we are today. So that is the journey that the institutions have taken. If you also look at the importance of new entrants into the electoral process, for example, the Supreme Court that has the first and regional jurisdiction to arbitrate or address the issues that arise out of a presidential election. The mere fact that you have somebody else that from the declaration from the IEBC, if you have grievances, and the beauty with our constitution is that anyone could go to court. It's not just the person who was running, but even me and you, if we had felt, there's some things that we need clarification, that opportunity is afforded. The timelines are provided within 7 days, and in 14 days, the determination needs to be made. I think the other thing also, I think since we are here, it's good to also celebrate people like the media who organize a presidential debate, who ensure that the issues were clear. You knew very clearly what the four candidates stood for. I can clearly tell you what Jakaya stood for. I don't think I should reiterate it here. I knew what Maure stood for. Right. I knew what Right Honorable Raila stood for. And I also knew what the President-elect stood for. And therefore, when you crystallize and you clarify issues, it becomes clear. I have to say this. I think it is important to also point out another dimension that helped in the process. Ambassador and Vicky, the introduction of devolution, according to me, has been one of the major game changers in our elections. Because what's going to happen, or what happened, is that in the past, you knew if you don't get the presidency, and we know very clearly that anyone who gets into that presidency, we've seen dividends going to their places. But this time round, we might not have gotten the presidency, but we have a governor, we have a county to run with a clear kitty, with the clear results. I can tell you, devolution may not have delivered 100% in the last decade, but I can tell and vouch that if we were to go to a referendum, there is no county that will be abolished, because people can feel that if I want our healthcare work, I can go to the desk of the governor. If, there is a lot of clarity. So that all that maturation is one of the things that when you put all this bouquet together, that as it is good to not only see the small trees in terms of the institutions, but also see the forest, that it is not a one-man show. Right. There is a contribution of so many efforts, locally, internationally. I also want to point out that the role of our development partners through civic education, the role of civil society, all this including the faith community. So when you bring all those together, it's now paints the picture of the beauty that where Kenya is at. And not forgetting that there are also other things that moving forward that we wanted them addressed, but they cannot be addressed through an election. And I think listening to the conversation, you're saying now from here, where to?
Exactly.
Be important to say that what the president-elect together with all the other leaders have to give attention to those issues.